Bye.
And here we go.
UK are proud sponsors of the Haze Hour on Vapor Trails TV.
And we are live, we're here. No, it's not. It's not, you say, taking everybody by surprise tonight.
Wednesday,
we're here on Wednesday for the simple reason that I won't be in the house tomorrow. I'll be in London. Well, I'll be on my way back from London.
Of course, you said, yes.
Yes, I'll be getting on the 9 o'clock train.
In the morning?
No, on the way home. I'm going at 5:38.
In the morning?
In the morning. I'll have to get out of bed at 4:30 tomorrow morning.
From Durham?
From Durham. Well, I'm not going to bed in Durham, I'm going to bed here.
Yes.
And I'll be up at 4:30.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that.
4 S's.
Yes.
In the car enough. You know the 4 S's?
I do.
Good lad, that's what I like to hear.
Don't know whether Sav does.
Sav knows the 4 S's?
Yes.
Well, be 3 for a lady.
Yes.
4 for a fella.
Yes.
Yes. Shit shave, a shower and a shampoo.
Yes.
That's the one. Yes. So that's in the morning. Then off down to London to the workshop on e-cig studies.
Oh, right, a workshop.
Oh, it's important stuff.
Oh,
it's important stuff. Guiding the future of research.
Just going on your own, are you?
Well, there'll be other people there. It's pointless me going on my todder. I could have done it here.
No, I meant Oh God, I give in.
Do you? That's what Vicky told us. No, what do you mean?
Yes, quite. Yeah.
No, I'm travelling alone.
You're travelling alone.
Aside from the other people that'll be on the train.
Simple question, simple answer.
We've got a packed show for everybody tonight, you know.
Well, we always do.
It's packed, absolutely packed. It's packed to the gunnels, so it is. We may not even have time to get everything in, but if we do, it'll be even more packed than it would have been otherwise. We're going to go through, do the usual, the newsy bits in the first half. In the second half, I'm going to have a look at the Vapor Shark RDNA's little brother, and I might get my pipe out. If we fancy a quickie.
Yes.
And we'll see how things go. There's all kinds of stuff lined up. And if you're Canadian, if you know anybody from Canada, get them to tune in, because they need some support, my God. But that'll all be up after the title, so we'd better do it properly, hadn't we?
I think so.
Are you ready for this? Are you?
Yes.
Right. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to the Haze Hour. I've clicked it and now it's happened. Dating. And so we are back in the room. Hello, good evening and welcome to you here on Wednesday the 27th of May, the day before the 28th of May in the year of 2015.
3 days after my birthday.
Hey, how old were you?
I'm not going to disclose that.
Go on, you're not a woman.
How old was I? 54.
54? Good grief, lad, you must have had a hell of a heavy paper round. Well, congratulations on making it to 54, young man.
Thanks very much.
I'll bring another 3 pints of cider through.
Thanks.
Well, I'll send you home roaring.
Right.
Did you have a good one? Did you get anything nice?
Yes, thank you.
Anything in the e-cig line?
No.
Ah.
No, whiskey, beer, a dressing gown,
A dressing gown?
a shirt.
Well, right. I'll tell you what then. I'll give you that to use for the evening.
All right.
There you are. You can sit and chuff on that and we'll talk about it later. But we need to get into the crap that's been going on, because that's what we do for this show. We get into the crap that's been going on. And I say my streams are both now good, so we can do that. So let's press number 1 and get straight into this. Have you seen this, Keith? The cigarette that charges for every puff. Right? Cigarette that charges for every puff. A recent patent from Philip Morris imagines a web-connected e-cig. It could help users quit, but it could also open up their pipe to tracking and hacking. And I'm not going to go where I am. Well, cigarettes, it says here, have one of the easiest to understand interfaces in the world. Step 1, light it. Step 2, inhale from the side that isn't on fire. That's cigarettes. But a new patent from Philip Morris hints at how that basic interface could get a good deal more complicated when you add a computer. The patent, published earlier this week, proposes an e-cigarette that could connect to a computer or phone via Wi-Fi or USB. In other words, an internet-enabled, smart e-cig. Once smartened up, the internet-connected pipe can do many things. Not so usefully, it could let users initiate a puff from the computer in case, I suppose, old-fashioned inhaling gets too hard. Slightly more usefully, it could automatically send doctors information about, and this is where he goes right off, how much tobacco was burned and for how long. That basically says that whoever it is that's written this knows naught about e-cigs, because they don't burn tobacco. But never mind, let's carry on. That feature could be especially handy if the cigarette's user is participating in a clinical trial or trying, with someone or something else's help, to stop smoking. Now, I'm just gonna come here. You may recall 3 or 4 weeks back when we were talking about the e-cig workshop that was happening in the States. They were talking about being able to count people's puffs.
Oh yeah.
And how to evaluate how much somebody used an e-cig during the course of the day. I get the feeling PMI's been watching. For those that don't know, PMI's Philip Morris International. And so they've done this. Let's carry on, because it's scary, this bugger, it really is. Right, where we are. Many of the e-cig's internet-enabled features are described as helping would-be quitters. In the patent's 9th column, its authors propose one feature that might help them understand smoking's costs. Pay as you puff. Smokers, it says, might want to charge themselves a little bit of money every time they take a hit. For example, it says here, look right there, the user buys daily or weekly or monthly smoking time from the internet application supported on the PC, or the user obtains smoking time credits based on cigarettes and other smoking articles bought via the internet application. And there
Surely that isn't serious.
it is. And do you know the likes of Professor Simon Chapman and Professor Stanton Glantz and Professor Martin McKee, all of them sharing one brain cell at any one time, would go head over heels for a piece of crap like that? Oh, charge vapors for every drag they take. That would suit me down to the ground. You could do that with bubblegum juice and I wouldn't mind.
I just think that's incredible.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's completely loopy. Who in their right mind would want to say, oh wait, who in their right mind would want to say anything like that on the market that's going to basically shackle people? If that's not intended to be a medicinal style of e-cig, I do not know what is. Yes.
It just makes you wonder what they'll come up with next.
Well, we'll wait and see. Leanna Lawless in chat has said, the question in one survey, how much would you pay for one puff? Whip It Up 69 has said, how stupid do they think we are? And somebody that's just gone flying straight up the screen said, how stupid do they yes. Yes, it's all intended. Just who the hell's going to do that? I mean, seriously, who?
It's unbelievable.
You know, you go out and you buy this thing, and you're out on the lash. You've got no 3G, no 4G, no nothing. It stops working, and you can't put any more credit on it.
You more credit on
you can't put it'll be like folks are with pay-as-you-go phones. They'll come up and go, Dev, can't borrow your phone. I've got no credit on mine. It'll be Dev, can't borrow your e-cig. There's no credit on me e-cig, and I need to call my mum. I need a drag, young and hell. That's for our Canadian friends that can't understand a word I say when I'm trying to be polite. I watch Twitter, you know.
But what about people who haven't computers?
What about them?
Well, I mean, they're sort of linking it up to a computer.
Yes. They would probably suggest that you could go into your local lending library and top up. I wouldn't put it past the buggers. You know what, the ATMs, you can go and top your card up for your phone.
Yes.
You can use a hole in the wall to top your card up for the phone. I can see people walking up with their little Visa card or their MasterCard and topping it in and topping their phone, then topping their e-cigs up with credit. I'm just going to put another £10 on me e-cig pet. I'll not be a minute. Make sure nobody sees me pin.
You wonder how much Philip Morris is spending on that.
Well, I hope they spend every last bloody penny they've got, because it's doomed to death and it might skint the buggers and get them off our backs. Spiritus Vape says, do they not have Wi-Fi in Yorkshire, DD? Hey, ask Marco about that. I haven't got a clue, but I'm tempted to tell you they've got no fibre where he lives. That was wrong. I maybe should have sent him some Weetabix. It's full of fibre, that is. And Reptile Keeper has hit it. That'll be how you get more than 20 milligram juice. That'll be exactly it. If you want higher than 20 milligram, you've got to get a PMI net enabled e-cig, and you're going to have to top it up. That's it's
Post office vaping vouchers.
Post office vaping vouchers. Ridiculous. OMG Hacks has said ridiculous, and I agree with him. It's ridiculous. He said, looking at completely the wrong camera. Ashley Miller has said, pretty sure you can get a laptop in that top pocket, Keith.
Yes, I noticed that.
Did you? He's watching.
Yes.
He's watching. Yes. Good Lord above. I tell you what. Yes. I think that's crazy. However, that's not the only daftness there's been. And this is for our Canadian friends. If you're in Canada, my heart goes out. Well, if you're in Ontario, my heart goes out to you. And if you haven't heard about this, this is a new piece of legislation that they're doing. Put it on screen, David. It's no good fiddling about with it otherwise. The Electronic Cigarettes Act 2015. There's definitions. The selling or supplying to persons under 19, display, places of entertainment, blah-de-blah. Some of the definitions here. Right, number one.
The Electronic Cigarette Act.
The Electronic Cigarette Act. That's exactly what it says, Keith. The Electronic Cigarette Act. Am I on the right place? I don't know what I've done here. Yes, I am. Right, a vaporizer or inhalant type device, whether called an electronic cigarette or any other name, that contains a power source and heating element designed to heat a substance and produce a vapour intended to be inhaled by the user of the device directly through the mouth, whether or not the vapour contains nicotine. That's what an e-cig
Well,
is.
where else are they going to do it other than through the mouth?
Through the nose.
The mind boggles.
Or alternatively, use it like suppositories. And I'm here to tell you, I've tried suppositories, and for all the good they do, you might as well shove them. Never mind. Let's back to where we were. Any component of a device described in paragraph 1, any other prescribed device or product, cigarette électronique, and so on and so on and so forth. Right, now, An enclosed public place means the inside of any place, building, structure, vehicle or conveyance or a part of any of them that is covered by a roof and to which the public is ordinarily invited or permitted access either expressly or by implication, whether or not a fee is charged for entry or a prescribed place, lieu public closed, enclosed workplace means. And so it goes and goes, and private dwelling, apparent age and proper documentation, exceptions, definitions, exemptions, establishment, signs in retail stores. Here how this is where it happens. Right? Signs in retail stores at number 6. No person shall in any place sell or offer to sell electronic cigarettes at retail unless the prescribed signs are posted at the place in the prescribed manner. Right? I've got no clue what that means. No person shall sell or offer to sell electronic cigarettes at retail or for subsequent sale at retail or distribute or offer to distribute electronic cigarettes for that purpose unless the electronic cigarettes are packaged in accordance with the regulations. Right? No person shall sell or offer to sell a flavoured electronic cigarette that has been prescribed as prohibited at retail or for subsequent sale at retail or distribute or offer to distribute it for that purpose. Right?
Can you imagine if that had been in today's Queen's speech? The Electronic Cigarettes Act.
I just thank God it wasn't. But here's the prohibitions, right? No person shall use an electronic cigarette in any enclosed public place or enclosed workplace. No person shall use an electronic cigarette in the following places or areas: a school, a building or portion of a building. This is all about schools, condominiums, apartments, day nurseries, private home daycare, the reserved seating area of a sports arena or entertainment venue, only the reserved seating area, mind, a prescribed place or area, and so on and so on and so on. And then we get a little bit further. Protection for people under 16 years old in motor vehicles. No person shall use an electronic cigarette or have an activated electronic cigarette in a motor vehicle while another person who is less than 16 years old is present in the vehicle.
Gee whiz.
Right? And it goes on and on and on and on and on. It is ridiculous. Right? All of this goes on and on.
So has this actually being passed through their sort of legislative
This is what
process?
They are putting through at the moment in the state of Ontario.
Oh, it's in the course of being debated.
I am not sure whether it's... I think it's passed. I think they've actually set this through and there was only one voice spoke against it. Only one voice spoke against it. That is now law in Ontario.
Right.
And it starts on the 1st of January 2017, I think. But, and here's the daft part, where they sell e-cigs, you cannot say you sell e-cigs. You cannot promote them. You can't put a sign up saying e-cigs sold here. You cannot show people the e-cigs. It's all in here somewhere. It's just, it's so wrapped up in gobbledygook and utter rubbish, right? You cannot show people e-cigs.
Is there any particular background in Ontario that's led to this? I mean, had you heard that in Ontario there were particularly, how can I put it?
Draconian?
Draconian, that's the word, yeah.
The Canadians have been kind of in a grey area for a long time, but mostly with government bodies saying these need to be got shut off one way or the other, and that seems to be pretty much what's happened. Neil Roth has said, he's confirmed, yeah, it's passed. The Canadians have to hope the government can overrule the state on this one. Leanna Lawless has said it's insane. Brown paper at the windows. I mean, seriously, the link to this piece of what's the... It's shite. The link to this will be posted into chat. Go and have a look at it. This is what Ontarians are up against, and they need all of our help. They've got to lobby the Canadian government. And what's really worrying is, remember, Canada's part of the bloody Commonwealth. they work on a kind of an English style of law. It really
But I mean,
worries
you'd
me,
have
this.
thought there would have been an opportunity for pressure groups, to exercise their democratic rights before it actually got to Parliament and was passed.
Well, apparently not. I mean, I know they've made representation, and I know they've kind of made their voices heard, but obviously not to any great degree. When there's only been one dissenting voice from this, it's gone through in its entirety with one dissenting voice, a Conservative MP or a Conservative representative there. This is an outright ban. It's what it is. What they've done is said, right, we don't want these things on anything other than a kind of a black market sale, so they've created a legitimate black market.
Yes.
And it is absolutely crackers. It's murder, absolute murder. It's just completely crazy, completely crazy. I wanted to bring that to your attention because those that would oppose us appear to be latching onto all kinds of rubbish, and some of them are being successful. For instance, let's go to this one. No, I'm going to take the adverts and then we'll go to the next piece, because this is the best bit of news you could get that's been spun to be the worst. We'll be back in 2 ticks. Don't go anywhere.
E-Leaf UK are proud sponsors of the Haze Hour on Vapor Trails TV.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Joytech UK are proud sponsors of vaportrails.tv.
E-Leaf UK are proud sponsors of the Haze Hour on Vapor Trails TV.
And we're back in the room. You catch me just as I put the lid back on the cider. It's warm tonight. Just catching up on what's been said in chat. Soon we'll have TTIP and companies can sue governments for restricting sales of everything. I think that would be a damn good move on this one. Vapers will be okay by themselves with DIY, but businesses and families they support will be destroyed, and no future smokers will have as good a method of ditching fags. Where are we at? Perhaps the vendors can now sue the state for destruction of the business. Maybe if they got a bit more active, they mightn't have been in this position. That's been said. And Paul Robinson 804 said, just cannot understand the mentality of these people in governments. Can they not see what a great product e-cigs are? And Leanna Lawless has summed it up in capital letters where she has said, money! That's what it's all about.
Yes.
It's all about the money. Spiritus Vapes says, hot. Indeed. Couldn't find a deerstalker, but I think the Harry Lime look is really good. Dun, 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 dun. Boop, bop.
That's quite a nice hat, that.
I like it. Yeah, it looks good on you. Old father.
It's small, but...
Well, I've only got a small head, you big-headed bugger. I don't know, get to 54 and what the hell happens? Look at that. Take 20 years off his age, you know. It's amazing what vaping will do for you.
God.
Right, look, let's show why Canada is actually completely up the spout. Let us go to Dr. Michael Siegel's blog, The Rest of the Story, where he says a new Harvard study finds that as many as 18% of current e-cigarette users may have quit smoking completely using e-cigs. According to a new electronic cigarette study reported at the 2015 family meeting, as many as 18% of current electronic cigarette users are ex-smokers who may have quit smoking completely as a result of their e-cigarette use. I should point out that this is an American survey, only in America. It's not the UK and Europe, where the figures are different. It's closer to 30%, certainly in the UK. Such a finding... What? Sorry,
it's all right. You keep it.
All right. That's why I don't read chat. You keep reading chat. Such a finding would represent perhaps the strongest evidence to date that not only are e-cigarettes helping smokers quit, but that the magnitude of this effect at a population level is massive and is likely to be associated with profound public health benefits. The key finding of the Harvard study was that in 2014, 20.7% of the current electronic cigarette users were former smokers. The important question, of course, is whether these represent ex-smokers who reinitiated nicotine use with e-cigarettes, or whether these represent smokers who quit smoking using e-cigarettes and thus are now identified as former smokers who use e-cigarettes. I will pause there and say, I have the feeling these buggers are trying to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Bottom line on it is, if you are using an e-cig exclusively, you are not a smoker. Whether you are a former smoker, ex-smoker, upside down smoker, left to right smoker, left footed smoker, right foot, I don't give a tuppenny toss. You're not a bloody smoker. You're an e-cig user. So all of this pedantics, but there is a reason why Harvard's done this. We go back. Try to tease this out. Or to try to tease this out, the researchers ascertained how long ago the respondent had quit smoking. One would assume that if the individual had quit smoking many years ago, then their e-cigarette use probably represents a return to nicotine use, i.e. a bad outcome. For what it's worth, Michael, I don't agree that that's a bad outcome actually, because if they were going to relapse, it's better they relapse to e-cigs, which I don't call a relapse, than go back to smoking. I'm sure you would agree. Right, carry on. On the other hand, for more recent quitters, it's likely that the e-cigarette use represents the results of a successful quit attempt, i.e. a good outcome. For the purposes of their analysis, the researchers set the differentiation of these two groups of quitting more or less than 6 years ago. Right, and this, you see, this is the funny thing. Because as of May the 17th just gone, it's 6 years since I last had a fag. May the 17th, 6 years ago, was the last time I had a fag. Where do I fall in this?
Well, it's this whole reference to smoking. I mean, the word's just not relevant, is it?
Not when it comes to
e-cigs. Because there isn't
e-cigs.
any smoke.
But you see, they've got to keep that in there. We'll carry on and you'll see why, right? It says, using this breakdown, the researchers report that only 2.8% of current e-cigarette users represent distant former smokers who were presumably attracted back to nicotine use via e-cigarettes. In contrast, 17.9% of current e-cigarette users represent recent former smokers who could conceivably have quit smoking using e-cigarettes. There's no bloody conceivably about it. They're not smoking cigarettes. They've quit. These data are consistent with a recent report from the UK which notes that during the past year alone, 500,000 smokers in the UK switched to e-cigarettes and that most of these are ex-smokers, suggesting that these are smokers who quit smoking via the use of e-cigarettes. No shit, Sherlock. Good God. While the finding from these two studies are similar, the conclusions drawn were polar opposites. The UK study concluded that it appears many smokers are quitting by switching to electronic cigarettes, meaning that e-cigarettes are undermining cigarette use, denormalising smoking and saving lives. With similar findings, and this is the important part, the Harvard study concluded that 1/3 of current e-cigarette users are non-smokers, undermining any benefits of smokers switching to electronic cigarettes. But there's a huge problem with Harvard study's conclusion. Their conclusion assumes that all of the 20.7% of vapers who are ex-smokers represent former smokers who returned to nicotine use due to e-cigarettes. However, as the study itself acknowledges, many of these ex-smokers could actually be individuals who successfully quit smoking using e-cigarettes and now continue to vape to keep themselves off real cigarettes. The bottom line on this is that Harvard is willfully misunderstanding how people use.
Dave, can I jump in there?
Yeah.
Everyone has lost video. It's fine on the preview, completely fine.
Really?
Yeah.
It's going out fine here as well.
Yeah. Let's try.